All right, Mr. Junior Dean, this will be the presentation on your responsibilities and opportunities. If I can get this to go. All right. So, at the end of this lecture, I'm hoping that you'll understand the general officer responsibilities, so what every officer needs to accomplish, what your responsibilities of Junior Dean are. Also, on the other side of responsibilities is opportunities, so identifying opportunities you can do. And then finally, um, outside of this lecture or presentation, you'll in the activities part of the module, you'll complete a summary of just what your responsibility opportunities are. So let's just get right into it. So general officer responsibilities includes holding office hours for 2 hours each week. That's something that's kind of set by the Venerable Dean as far as how much he wants you guys to do it, but there should be some set standard of hours that you guys just sit down and get things done. You want to review your policies, so past Venerable Dean, or sorry, Junior Dean policies and the Junior Dean Gold Book. And then schedule monthly one-on-ones with the Venerable Dean. That way you guys can go more in depth than just the informal passing by talk about the position, but kind of cover some more of the details. You're going to need to create your position budget and present it to the treasurer 2 weeks before the first meeting in January. Complete training and attend the transition session in January, which you're already doing the training now. Be at the chapter house 1 week before school begins in the fall and 3 days in the spring, unless given and good, a good reason. And this one's very important: is prepare and send weekly reports to the secretary before the officer meeting. This is to ensure that the agenda is established at the officer meeting. That way, you guys, instead of creating it there, you guys can just review it, make sure it's all good to go, fine tune it, and then all the officers, by having the reports ready by the officer meeting, and make sure that they get their stuff done ahead of time, or if some sort of thing pops up, that way. So basically, you come prepared to the officer meeting, and if something comes up where you find out you need to do something else before chapter, then you have time to do it before chapter, rather than just coming to chapter with going off the top of your head um, of your report. So some general, or this is how I'm gonna map out Junior Dean responsibilities. So there's 5 different areas. So the social side, Greek community side, intramural side, brotherhood, and special events. So we're just gonna go into each one of those. So the social responsibilities, obviously, this is the one that most junior deans know of and why they take the position. But included in this, you want to keep in mind that parties or open parties have the most risk for fraternities. So having brotherhood parties or parties with another Greek house or a date dash is much less risky than just having a open party where random people come into the house. In order to have open parties or any sort of party, you need to have at least 3 sober to supervise the event. There's a head, which will usually be you or someone you assign, a DJ, bartender, and so that is someone to control the music, so they're not always changing the songs, but more importantly, to control the beverage consumption. And then the door manager to make sure that people who are at least 18 years old are coming into the house, and just making sure that no one who is belligerently drunk just leaving the house or coming into the house or anything else like that, just manning the door and filtering out what needs to be filtered out. And when inviting people to a party via Facebook, make every member an admin so that only people who see or who are directly connected to the event can see and attend the event. And so that's just some of the tips, and there's definitely more you can go about with handling parties, but that's some of the key things we need to do. So as far as for the Greek community, you as the union, it's your responsibility to kind of outreach to the community and build relations. So you want to keep some of these things in mind. The Center for Fraternity and Sorority Life can provide a list of contact information for each house. That's something that's often underutilized. Work with both sororities and fraternities to establish events ranging from attending a sorority dinner or setting up a biad, which is working with another fraternity and a sorority, or a triad, which is 3 fraternities and a sorority, or possibly just 2 sororities, which get pretty big. Also, most definitely work closely with our neighbors because we interact with them due to our close proximity. So, like SAEs and Tridelts are good ones to always make sure we have good relations with. And of course, be creative. Even service projects can be a great opportunity to build a relationship with another Greek house. And then there is the all too often forgotten intramurals. As Junior Dean, you'll see in the Pythagoras and the Junior Dean Gold Book, being the junior dean is not all about just social, which kind of gets conceived as parties. It's just basic, the social wellness. There's a whole spectrum of that. There's getting out and being physical. There's getting out, and interacting with different kinds of people and doing different things. There's the, brotherhood aspect to it as well. This gets into that kind of getting out and being physical, and also intramurals are a great social opportunity as well, and recruitment opportunity. And there are many different intramural programs offered, so there's no reason that Cation shouldn't be involved in, one or more. And it is your responsibility, you solely, to organize the teams and assign a team captain and further lead the team. So you don't have to go on and be on all these intramurals. All you have to do is make sure that the chapter knows about all of them, that a team captain is made, and he can kind of, gather up the guys to get onto the team and handle everything else. And you just do the general oversight of making sure everything is happening. And if possible, request in your budget to cover the cost for intramural teams, which is usually about $40 a team. All right, brotherhood. Now I know sometimes or usually we elect a brotherhood chair, and yes, if we do, that means that you as the junior dean are delegating your responsibilities to him as much as you see fit. So what can't be lost in that is that you're not delegating the responsibility. It's still your responsibility to make sure that brotherhood is happening in the chapter. And if you want to use a brotherhood chair to help you out with that, then that's perfectly fine. Um, so some tips to keep in mind with enhancing brotherhood or maintaining brotherhood within the house is to provide regular brotherhood events that members can rely on, such as just a regular poker night, or every Wednesday night it's going to be a brotherhood night with a different kind of event. But you also want to provide some varying activities that will address the varying interests of the brotherhood. So with us, of course, we have a lot of different members with a lot of different interests. So whether it be you can have video games one night, athletics the other night, and then of course non-alcoholic and alcoholic events, just all those different kind of dimensions you can go for being social. And then don't forget about big brothers and little brothers. Encourage nights where each can foster these mentoring bonds, and that even includes big thing in the chapter is doing family nights. So if you're going to take on your responsibility as brotherhood chair, or the brotherhood part of your position includes just making sure that big brothers and little brothers are bonding, and that or reminding them, hey, why don't you guys have a family night this night, and just making sure that that's happening. And that's not a casual thing of just talking to them. Plan it out. Sit down with some of the the bigger brothers, the family patriarchs, and set up family nights, or just even regularly communicate with big brothers to say, hey, this is going to be a big brother day. This day, all big brothers should go out and do something with their littles, and then have them tell you what they're going to do. So again, take it out of informal, make it formal. Now, as junior dean, those will be some of your regular responsibilities, but there will be some special events that will be of interest to your position. And so in the fall, of course, there's homecoming, Dad's Weekend, Thanksgiving dinner, and Founders Day, Founders Day is when our chapter was originally founded, which was December 7th, 1935. So celebrating that day. And then come spring, there's Valentine's Day, Mom's Weekend, which is in, let me believe it's early April. Spring break, which is in late March. Greek week, which is usually in early March. And then Night on the Nile, if you choose to plan that event, it usually happens in the spring. And of course, don't forget about summer. The fraternity seems like it just completely shuts down over summer, but that's not the way it should be. Summer, there's a lot of great things that happen, like Oregon State has their initiation because they're on a different academic schedule than us. There's also, of course, 4th of July, and the major Acacia events like ALA, the Acacia Leadership Academy, or Conclave. And then later in the summer, in August, there's the WSU Golf Classic, where alumni from around the Northwest converge and play golf over around the Seattle area. All right, so I've covered some of the general categories of your responsibilities to give you a full picture of the things that you have your hands in. And like I said, some of these things you can delegate to others, some you can take on yourself, but generally you're responsible to make sure that all this happens. In doing your job, you learned about planning, recording, and reporting as a management system. So I'm going to go ahead and go into how your position works with each of these. So first, planning. Obviously, this will take a lot of your time, most of your time. So you're going to plan important events in the master calendar before the beginning of the term. So like I said, Mom's Weekend, Dad's Weekend, those kind of important events. And then each month, you'll create the following month's social calendar. And this is something to really stick to. If you get into the month and you are just then planning the month, it doesn't work out. Guys need time to plan and be able to invite people to events and kind of like build a hype for each event. Like I mentioned earlier, have regularly planned events as well as other events, so variety. Ensure that all events are planned for at least 2 weeks in advance or more for bigger events. And what I mean by that is like, so you plan for it, you put down on the calendar, we're going to do video games on this night, or we're going to do a rafting trip. What I mean, ensure that they're planned for at least 2 weeks advance, is that you actually get into the planning, the deeper, what are going to be the materials we're going to need, who do we need to contact to reserve anything, who needs to be involved, all the little things that need to happen for an event. And that's something I'm not going to exactly cover in this presentation, but it's something that we can meet up and discuss on how to properly plan a good event. Uh, Most of all, one of the best suggestions I can give you for planning events, especially bigger ones, is using a committee. It gets input on making sure the event is well, received by the membership, and that also it's well planned out because you have multiple minds on the event and more hands for the work. So recording is not going to be a big task for you. It's pretty simple in that it just needs to get done. That at each chapter, act the chapter to report the good and the bad for each event. Simple thing. Hey guys, what are 3 good things that you liked about this event? What are 3 bad things you liked about this event? And when you can take that and you record each event in the program database, and then include those 3 goods, 3 bads. That way, the next junior dean can review that and know what went well, what didn't go well, and in general, what did you do. Lastly, there's reporting. And so junior dean, as far as like, this is mainly speaking to when you're at chapter and giving your report, and you are mainly going to be a salesman. You need some salesmanship when you're reporting at chapter. So always be energetic and always sell the event. If you cannot sell it, then why are you even doing it is a good question to ask yourself. Also be succinct, give them quick and interesting details of the event, as well as the time, the day, and the dress. That way they don't get lost in all the details. Are just straight to the point, easy to remember. Use visualizations if you want to show just a calendar on the TV screen of what's going on for that week, or anything else. It helps them remember. And then follow up on Facebook and remind members of events. This is the key to having good events. It's just following up and making sure that guys are aware of it and that guys are always being reminded to invite people to events or be prepared to attend an event. So, some last things to note that may come across or you may want to do is you may want to create t-shirts for events, and they are awesome to do, but poorly designed ones are not. For example, you go on Google and you find this of how Acacia Fraternity, WCU Acacia, tried copying Jack Daniels bottle. Now, yeah, it looks cool, but plenty of other things look cool too. The fact that it's alcohol automatically gives the person seeing it that is just our tie. That Acacia alcohol, fraternity alcohol, and that's not something we need. We are not alcohol. We're in the business of brotherhood. So if you want to do a T-shirt that more represents the brotherhood, or more represents the fact that we're just having fun, or that we're gentlemen, or anything like that, or just represents the event more closely, that's a much better way to go than something like this. Also, something we've done poorly in the past is Acacia swag gives the member swag. Give your members swag. Go out and say, guys, let's all chip in. Let's all get some backpacks. Let's get some hats. Let's get this or that. And if they don't, just budget for it. Just get it anyways, and then sell it. Always have it on hand. It can always be passed on. And as long as we have, as long as we can get it out there, it helps the chapter all around. It helps in our reputation socially. Members having pride in the fraternity. It's a great thing to do. Last thing to note, and this one's really important, and some junior deans on this last bullet, they think that this is why they actually join the position, but it does make it hard and can hurt their other parts of their life. But you don't have to be the life of the party, just the giver of the party. So don't feel that you're required to be at every party, be the life of the party. Just make sure that the party's well planned out, put together, and ready to go for the members to have fun. So that's your responsibilities. Now, being an officer position isn't all about responsibilities and things you have to do and such. There are also a lot of great opportunities for you to do some really cool things. So I'm going to go ahead and let you finish reading what's on the screen. Some things like you can develop personally and professionally through this position, or you can just do your other things. The only real limitation is yourself. So what limitations you put on yourself, how creative you want to be, and what standards you want to set for yourself. So some ideas for cool little opportunities you can do is plan a retreat with a sorority, plan a volunteer exchange with a sorority, lead the chapter to an intramural championship, plan social development events such as having a house mother teach the members proper etiquette. These are just a few of the ideas you can do to really do some of the cool ideas you can do outside of what's required of you. All right. Now you're done with the presentation. All that I ask is that in this module, you'll go to the activities part and you'll just do a quick summary of what you think your responsibilities and opportunities are. Without referring to this presentation or your gold book, just do it off the top of your head just to kind of give you a little test to see how well you are grasping your R and O's. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to the semester with you.